is Yolanda Chavez Leyva. I'm an associate professor of history and the director of the Institute of Oral History at the University of Texas at El Paso. I was born in Juarez, raised in El Paso, and identify as a Chicana lesbian. So I was going to this bar called the Pet Shop, which was one of the early bars here, and it was a really amazing place. I started going actually when I was still in high school, and you would go down these steps, very dark steps, and then the dance floor had lights underneath that would be going like that, and you know, everyone was so happy and dancing. It was a beautiful place to go. So women would walk up to me, and here I'm a little baby, 19, 18, year old, and they would say, "Are you butcher femme? We can't figure it out." And I'd be like, "Oh, I better figure out what I am." Turned out I was femme. But I tried the butch thing for a little while, so I would put on my father's suits. I would dress up like a man in my house with my parents. And my mother, and I would tell my mother, "I'm going to a dance that's mostly women." And she would say, "The women are going to fall in love with you." And I was like, "Whoa, what?" So that was very interesting, and I don't know what she was thinking, but she also told me once or twice that she had been very in love with this woman. Yet, after I had my son, I think that's when they really started to not like that I was a lesbian, or when it was, they used to make up this story, and they told people for years that I had a husband, that he was in the military, and that's why no one ever saw him. I was a freshman here at UTEP in 1974 and 75, and I remember it was majority Anglo at that time, and I was already out, and it was kind of scary to me to tell people. I moved to Austin in 1975, and everything changed because it was a large university community. It had a very active both Chicana, Chicano community and gay and lesbian community. So everything changed for me when I moved to Austin, because, and a part of it I'm sure was that I was away from my family. So I got to just be me for the first time. And I think I also bring that experience to the students here. Our students are very, just like I was, very tied to family, which is good in many ways, that we are that family oriented, that we love our abuelitas and our parents, and it can also be very limiting. So I always talk to students who come to me, and they have come to me over the years with family issues about coming out, and I've had students kicked out of their homes because they came out. And I'm an abuelita. I had a son in 1981 at a time when lesbians were not having children. The only women that I knew that had children were women who had been married, had children, came out divorced. And it was very scary to be a lesbian mother in Texas in the 1980s, because the state of Texas was taking children away from lesbian mothers because simply being lesbian made you unfit. So there was a lot of fear around it. And I remember, I guess when my son was just still a baby, I met one other Chicana who also had a child after coming out, maybe a year before me, and it was so amazing because there weren't lesbian mothers back then. And I look at now and how things have changed, and I talk to my son who's now 35, and he feels very much like he is part of this queer community because he was raised in it. Yeah. So I think role models are really important because they show us the possibility of who we can be. And I also think role models are important because they teach us that we're not alone. And as a young woman having just come out and being either in queer circles or Chicano circles, I used to feel very alone because there was never in those early years, a place where I could be fully me. There was never a place where everything came together. So, role models, even if it's someone that you don't actually know, but if you can hear their story, read their story, learn about them, like that makes me feel less alone. So I think this project is really important.